Welcome to Reflection Thursday. Optical illusion art is fun. It may seem simple and straightforward, but there's always more there than meets the eye.
Look at this 2011 painting. How many people do you see in the image? Do you see the man in the foreground playing an instrument? Do you see the woman and man in gray and white in the center? Notice the man working on the woman's nose. And speaking of a woman, how about the one standing along the dead tree? Her hair is blonde. Finally, do you see the large human face? The man and woman are his eyes, the clouds the top of his head, and the trees outline his face, head, and ears. Now, I know some of you spotted the other images quickly, and others of you still only see the man in the foreground playing the instrument.
Seeing the whole of Jesus takes time. The longer you observe him, the more you see. If you only give him a glance, then he's merely a first century Galilean peasant. A closer examination reveals he is a teacher of the Torah with profound insight. Viewed from another angle, he is a prophet of Yahweh with powers. Then, of course, there is the Matthew account that Jesus is the God appointed Jewish Messiah who gathers up all who belong to the Father and establishes the kingdom and is the blessing to all nations. Not everyone sees Jesus as portrayed in the Gospel of Matthew. Case in point, the Jerusalem leadership. All they see is a Galilean peasant with delusions of grandeur. The Jerusalem leaders fit Isaiah's report of God's people 700 years earlier. He writes, "Keep on listening, but do not understand, and keep on looking, but do not gain knowledge. Make the hearts of this people insensitive, their ears dull, and their eyes blind, so that they will not see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and return and be healed." That's Isaiah chapter 6, verses 9 through 10. Caiaphas the high priest asks a good question about Jesus' identity. He says, "I place you under oath by the living God to tell us whether you are the Christ, the Son of God." Now, unfortunately, the goal of Caiaphas' question was not to gain insight, but to create legal jeopardy. The high priest's theatrics upon hearing Jesus' answer is typical of those in power, which is overwhelming reaction is required of any threat. Really? What did these well-connected men have to fear from a mere Galilean with delusions of grandeur? 30 years earlier, this same body tolerated the delusions of Herod the Great. Now, Jesus' composure and ability to state truth fearlessly frightened them. In other words, Jesus refused to be intimidated. Now, that fact alone should have given the Jerusalem leadership pause. Why is this Galilean peasant so courageous? And what makes this Galilean so different? Is he crazy? Or is it in the realm of possibility that he is the Messiah? Alas, even when he was right before their eyes, they could not see beyond their vested interests. And I'm going to ask you, please look at Jesus as presented in the Gospel of Matthew. Do not let your wealth, yes, you heard me, do not let your wealth or position of prestige and power blind you to the whole Jesus. Until next time, God bless.